CJ Grisham, 40 Trail. I wanted to read a letter that was sent out by a Washington County, Wisconsin Sheriff, Dale Schmidt. And in place of, he's talking about his Milwaukee Chief Smith, but anywhere you hear, or Chief Flynn, excuse me, anywhere you hear Chief Flynn, I'd like you to think in your minds about our leaders in our police department here, because I think this speaks to them, and I think it speaks to what they're doing here. Quote, "Too often law enforcement leaders confuse all citizens with criminals. They see themselves as kings of their jurisdiction instead of employees of the people. In 2009, when Wisconsin's Attorney General issued his advisory memo on open carry, it created little discussion within my department. That's because we already knew it was legal and protected by the Constitution. Chief Flynn's position, quoted from JS Online, was, my message to my troops is if you see anybody carrying the gun in the streets of Milwaukee, we'll put them on the ground, take the gun away, and then decide whether or not they have a right to carry it. Sounds like a man who makes no distinction between law-abiding citizens and criminals. That is one example, but I believe other law enforcement leaders operate under the ends justify the means policing model. Constitution be damned. Law enforcement in America was never supposed to be about ruling the people. We're hired by the people to do that part of crime fighting they cannot do themselves. The citizens never gave up their protection against unlawful searches of their persons or seizure of their property or their right to own guns and defend themselves in that process. Does that make it harder to ferret out the criminals amongst us and arrest them? Yes, it does. But it is how we protect our free society from a tyrannical government. I believe Chief Flynn is truly concerned about the safety of his officers, but law-abiding citizens are not the threat, and any law to improve officer safety must first be constitutional. The way it's supposed to work is that the citizens elect people to run the government. Those elected people then hire police chiefs and officers to enforce society's laws within the confines of the Constitution. In the case of sheriffs, the people elect them directly. But either way, we are all accountable to the people. We are not their rulers. The law-abiding people are on our side, and we should be focused on protecting their constitutional rights, not limiting them. How did this get so backwards? We should be talking about how to identify and stop people before they commit mass murders. We should be talking about why criminals remain on the street after multiple convictions for violent crimes. And we should be talking about how to change the subculture in this country that places no value on human life or personal responsibility. Rotten and disturbed individuals commit violent crimes, and that is where law enforcement leaders need to focus their energies. We are elected and hired by the people and then took an oath to protect their constitutional rights. I suggest we try a fresh angle on violent crime by inviting the law-abiding public to be a part of the solution instead of carpet-bombing their individual rights. It would do sheriffs, chiefs, and elected officials well to remember Sir Robert Peel's 7th principle of policing, which says, quote, police at all times should maintain a relationship with the public that gives reality to the historic tradition that the police are the public, and the public are the police. The police being only members of the public who are paid to give full-time attention to duties which are incumbent on every citizen in the interest of community welfare and existence. Chief, it's time to trust the people, not rule them. Signed, Dale K. Schmidt, Sheriff of Washington County, and I would hope that our chief heard that and understands where his responsibilities stop and his authority lies.